militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Sure, you need an organized military force to defend your country, but the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the people, in contrast with the militia. It doesn't say the right of the militia to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says the right of the people. Now, why the word people? Because the people who wrote this had just fought a war for 2 years against the tyrannical state militia. They knew the time might come when they'd have to do that again. So they made the possession of weapons a right that the militia could never take away.
You can't get rid of guns. You know, that's, so what are the alternatives? You know,
what do we do?
Guns don't go away. It's a Second Amendment right, obviously. Taking people's right to protect themselves from bad people that would do that is not something you can do.
No, I think that you can't start to pick apart anything out of the Bill of Rights without thinking that it's all going to become undone. If you take one out or change one law, then why wouldn't they take all your rights away from you?
You carry guns routinely at home? I mean, you have a gun at home?
Yeah, it's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny.
The engineer is Lori Jameson. I think she's
not the Hunt.
And do you see any link between that and these sorts of incidents?
No. Not really. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to kill people, you know, they don't need a gun to do it.
Makes it easier though, doesn't it?
Not really. You can use you can strap explosives on your body. They do that all the time.
He just equated gun owners to Nazis.
And Chihuahuas.
If you don't like that, write it down. We've given you
You should like that. Defending that? That's offensive. Are you defending him?
I am not
fighting citizens Nazis?
Doesn't matter why they include it. The question is, do we want it? Do we need it now? Is it
Sir.
Freedom of religion doesn't matter.
While you're standing up, I understand you're not standing here right now, and I would like to agree with the professor. Everyone standing in this room right now, especially the veterans in this room right now, know we are all Americans. The problem with this country right now is it's us. We need to stop this crap. Now, the thing I would like you to answer, sir, and I did go to war for this country. Whether it was for everyone in here's ability to have oil and gas in their cars, or the banks, or whatever, I went to war.
Being necessary to the security of a free state. Sure, you need an organized military force to defend your country, but the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the people, in contrast with the militia. It doesn't say the right of the militia to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says the right of the people. Now, why the word people? Because the people who wrote this had just fought a war for 2 years against the tyrannical state militia. They knew the time might come when they'd have to do that again. So they made the possession of weapons a right that the militia could never take away.
You can't get rid of guns. You know, that's, so what are the alternatives? You know,
what do we do?
Guns don't go away. It's a Second Amendment right, obviously. Taking people's right to protect themselves from bad people that would do that is not something you can do.
No, I think that you can't start to pick apart anything out of the Bill of Rights without thinking that it's all going to become undone. If you take one out or change one law, then why wouldn't they take all your rights away from you?
You carry guns routinely at home? I mean, you have a gun at home?
Yeah, it's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not the Hunt.
And do you see any link between that and these sorts of incidents?
No. Not really. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to kill people, you know, they don't need a gun to do it.
Makes it easier though, doesn't it?
Not really. You can use you can strap explosives on your body. They do that all the time.
He just equated gun owners to Nazis.
And chihuahuas. If you don't like that, write it down. We've given you the
You shouldn't like that. Defending that? That's offensive. Are you defending him with gun owners? Fighting citizens, Nazis?
Doesn't matter why they included it. The question is, do we want it? Do we need it now? And is it relevant to today's
Sir.
Freedom of religion doesn't matter.
While you're standing up, I am sat here and I'm in here right now, and I would like to agree with the professor. Everyone standing in this room right now, especially the veterans in this room right now, know we are all Americans. The problem with this country right now is it's us. We need to stop this crap. Now, the thing I would like you to answer, sir, and I did go to war for this country.
Yeah!
Whether it was for everyone in here's ability to have oil and gas in their cars, or the banks, or whatever, I went to war for my country.
Thank you.
And I went to war for your ability to have the First Amendment to say what you stood up there and said today, write what you want to write in your newspaper, and have whatever opinion you want to have. You can practice whatever religious freedoms you want. I would like you to answer the question, since you just said that one of the rights that I went to war over to defend that is inalienable to every American citizen. If this discussion was going on about your First Amendment rights, would you still have the same opinion that we don't need that anymore either?
Here's my answer.
I did hear your answer.
We all did.
You said the Second Amendment no longer matters, and we might not need it right
That's
now.
not what I said.
You question it.
The question was, what were the reasons for the Second Amendment at the time it was adopted? And I said, it doesn't matter what their reasons are. What matters is whether or not it's relevant today. And that's the answer.
Eternal truth.
And eternal truth. Relevant in all time. When they consider any part of the Constitution, any law, they're going to say, what does it mean today?
Let the man speak. The threat of tyranny today is no less than the turn of the century in the 1900s, 1800, or 1700s.
My name is Bill Stevens. I live in Newtown. My 5th grade daughter
The nav beacon is calibrating. We'll find you a battle.
Action stations, action stations. Set condition 1 throughout the ship.
Jump complete. Jump cycling.
Vulture missiles locked on. Broadside plasma guns locked on enemy vessel.
Activated. Full power to maneuvering thrusters. Ship is damaged, Captain.
Firing. Launching Vulture missiles. Enemy destroyer scrapped.
Countermeasures. Fire up the grid. Main power just went
Captain.
Read the words. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Sure, you need an organized military force to defend your country, but the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the people, in contrast with the militia. It doesn't say the right of the militia to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says the right of the people. Now, why the word people? Because the people who wrote this had just fought a war for 2 years against a tyrannical state militia. They knew the time might come when they'd have to do that again. So they made the possession of weapons a right that the militia could never take away.
Can't get rid of guns. You know, that's, you know, so what are the alternatives? You know,
What do we do?
Guns don't go away. It's a Second Amendment right, obviously. Taking people's right to protect themselves from bad people that would do that is not something you can do.
No, I think that you can't start to pick apart anything out of the Bill of Rights without thinking that it's all going to become undone. If you take one out or change one law, then why wouldn't they take all your rights away from you?
You carry guns routinely at home. I mean, you have.
Spinning up the nav beacon. Spinning up the nav beacon. The nav beacon is calibrating. We'll find you a battle.
destroyed.
We've been hit hard. Deploy damage control teams. Full power to maneuvering thrusters. Shield activated. Main power just went down. Full power to maneuvering thrusters.
Flechette swarm locked to target.
Firing up.
That did it. Enemy hull collapsing. Artillery cruisers.
That's it, she's done.
Thanks for the assist. Launch flechette.
Heavy damage across multiple systems, Captain. Activate countermeasures. Full power to maneuvering thrusters.
We're getting destroyed out here. Need support now. Heads up! Our command ship is on the battlefield. Hostile command ship detected. Solid lock. Launching missiles. All silos reloading, Captain.
Full power to maneuvering thrusters.
The enemy eliminated our command ship. Torpedo lock confirmed. Torpedo launched. Enemy warheads locked on our position.
Multiple impacts. Damage control teams on station.
Autoguns fired up.
Full power to maneuvering thrusters.
We got their command ship.
We're getting killed out here.
Enemy warheads locked on our position.
The ship's falling to pieces.
Appreciate the assistance, Captain. We could use some backup here. Need some repairs.
On, Captain. Activated.
Command ship is back on the battlefield.
System drained.
Enemy missiles incoming, Captain.
Amplifying weapons, aye. Laser defenses engaging enemy missiles.
Thanks, Captain.
Ship is damaged, Captain. Full power to maneuvering thrusters.
Enemy command ship detected. Let's take it out.
Countermeasures recharging. Full power to maneuvering thrusters. You heard the captain. Systems depleted, Captain.
We're falling apart. Need repairs now. Our command ship has been downed.
Full power to maneuvering thrusters.
Thank you. Flechettes locked and ready to fire.
Spinning up the nav beacon.
All decks to action stations. Incoming enemy ships. Run out the guns. Captain.
Broadside plasma batteries locked. Give them hell.
Shield activated.
Launch all vultures. Broadside. Open fire. Scratch enemy destroyer.
Abandoned ship. All hands to evac system.
Vultures are locked. Ready to launch. That destroyer is scrap, Captain.
Firing up. Jump complete. Jump cooling down.
Vulture missiles locked on.
We're winning, Captain.
Broadside plasma guns locked on enemy vessel.
Aye, Captain. Engaging.
Launching vulture missiles.
Countermeasures. Fire up the grid. I could have at least said thanks. Captain, we're gaining ground out there. Anti-missile defenses cooling down.
launchers. Ship's hull down to 50%, Captain. Broadside activated. Let's get out of here. Jump complete. Jump cooling down. We've been hit hard. Deploy damage control teams. Shield activated. Stand by. Calculating jump coordinates. Laser display power just went down. All stop. Activating artillery. System drive. Captain, we're gaining ground out there. That did it. Enemy destroyer's hull is collapsing.
User entered your channel.
Hello. Where's everybody? Taco and bye-bye? So what are you playing?
So, feel free to watch.
The nav beacon is calibrating. We'll find you a battle.
Wow, 2 of each. Nice.
Action stations, all decks. Full power to maneuvering thrusters. Shield activated.
Launcher missiles have a clean shot.
User entered your channel.
Hey Cal, how's it going?
Hi Reaper. Hi Bill. Taco Man is taking a nap. We just spent 8 hours driving our son to his ice steps today.
Oh, fun.
4 hour back. So he's taking a little nap. A little tired.
Understandably.
Yes, I'm going to be watching the show with my son for the next 30 minutes. It's like a 42, I think it's 42-minute show. It's called The Ranch.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And then I will be back into play, and he'll probably be up. I heard, Mr. Bill, you and I are on the, I got to talk to you list.
What did I do?
I understand my Destiny went to visit Val today and got to spend some time with him. My Archie?
How'd your Archie do that?
I don't know, but according to what I was told by Taco, Val told him that I need to get with him because he needs to give me my bird back. I went, my bird? How did my bird get to him?
I don't know.
Well, somebody let him borrow my bird.
That's only you and me.
Oh, it's probably my Triceratops. He said he made a mistake. Okay, I ain't worried about my trike. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the trike is no big deal.
Oh, I ain't worried about the trike. He can keep the trike if he wants and if he needs it. But no, he told me bird. Are you sure that was bird? He said maybe he made a mistake and thought bird. But he got himself a dragon today.
Sweet.
He got him an ember.
I have a rock dragon.
Ooh, well, Mr. Fancy, I guess we're going to go out and find me one.
No, you can have the color.
Oh, okay.
It's peaches.
Peaches? Okay. Well, I'm going to go watch my show with my son. I'll be
Okay.
back in a little bit. It's only like 32 minutes. And then he's going to bed, and then I'll come back in. Now, which one are we going to play on tonight? Rag or Lost Realm? And Reaper, you can come in.
I'll need the server ID.
I will. I'll give it all to you. Come in, or you can come in. Bill, do you want to come to Ragnarok, or do you want to come to my part of Ragnarok? Which one would you rather put him in there?
Well, you can put him in part of the taco.
Okay, we're pulling my schools in. We're good. Okay. Let me ask you something. Have you played Ark before?
Yes, I have. I just never got fully into it.
Have you ever played Aberration?
No. I actually prefer playing on the map, the circle. I believe is what it's called, or the center, actually. The center.
We'll take you to Lost Realm. We can put you in my tribe in Lost Realm, or we can take you to Ragnarok and put you in my tribe.
I already got, if he wants, see, normally out there, you got to get yourself into a cave.
Yeah.
Because the big monsters will destroy your building easily. But I found another cave.
Okay.
I don't really care as long as I can get constant help in the game, because I really don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Bill will help you in the same tribe on it's called Ragnarok 20 and it's Fuzzy. Fuzzy's little crew. I also have
Okay, cool.
And that's server.
Here,
So we have
go watch
level
the movie. Go watch the movie. I'll come.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
I would need the direct IP since I connect directly to it through Steam. So.
Take you into Rag and get you in the tribe. I do believe I can get to admin. If not, I'll come in about 30 minutes. And if Clown comes in, just have him force him into our tribe. That's all you have to do. You force him into our tribe. Skulls in. Talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
Vulture missiles locked on.
This here.
This is the same IP as Tacos TS.
It's not the same.
Oh, okay.
That's Fuzzy's one.
Okay, cool.
Locked off Dreadnought eliminated.
This battle is ours.
Oh, I got a fighter on my ass. Where is he?
Had to get even, huh, Captain?
Over there on that side, they have the address of all the realms, 420 cluster, multiple maps.
Oh, sweet.
If I got, I mean, if you want a nice place with complete protection, there's a lot of places with doors possible to be knocked down, baddies come in, but this is a unique place. I found nobody can get in there to you.
Oh, sweet. That'd be nice.
Door you gotta go through, you gotta crouch down just to walk through it. Then you walk into a very long, massive cave. But you get to be in the desert.
Oh, great. Normally the desert equals danger to me, so I try to stay away from it.
It's all rigged up quite well. See, all you need is a beehive, and you got other little mods on there. And get water easily, so you have your own garden on there. So you don't even really need to come out.
Cool.
I chose the only underwater cave on the map, you know, in the ocean, that you can live in, because there's air in it.
We're getting killed out here.
Oh, and we got our asses handed to us, I think. Hey, no, we won, actually. Nice. Okay, well, then I guess this will be my last time playing this game for a bit. Oh, sweet, I got first place. Nice.
He who have such little doubt.
Yeah, I'm also streaming right now, so it's going to take me a moment to change game titles and everything over to Ark and get into that. But I've been trying to rank up my main Dreadnought.
But we do the same thing over there. Try to train up or rank up your some of your creatures.
Yeah. Okay, game switch.
Kelly's got her little base over in some grotto on the mainland. I got my place, Atlantis, city of Mu, at the bottom of the ocean.
Nice.
You can't get any deeper than where I am.
Okay, well, I'm gonna mute my mic and...
Read the words. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Sure, you need an organized military force to defend your country, but the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the people, in contrast with the militia. It doesn't say the right of the militia to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says the right of the people. Now, why the word people? Because the people who wrote this had just fought a war for 2 years against a tyrannical state militia. They knew the time might come when they'd have to do that again. So they made the possession of weapons a right that the militia could never take away.
Can't get rid of guns. You know, that's, you know, so what are the alternatives? You know,
What do we do?
Guns don't go away. It's a Second Amendment right, obviously. Taking people's right to protect themselves from bad people that would do that is not something you can do.
No, I think that you can't start to pick apart anything out of the Bill of Rights without thinking that it's all going to become undone. If you take one out or change one law, then why wouldn't they take all your rights away from you?
You carry guns routinely at home? I mean, you have a gun at home?
Yeah, it's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt.
And do you see any link between that and these sorts of incidents?
No. Nah, not really. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to kill people, you know, they don't need a gun to do it.
Makes it easier though, doesn't it?
Not really. You can use you can strap explosives on your body. They do that all the time.
He just equated gun owners to Nazis.
And chihuahuas. If you don't like that, write it down. We've given you
You should like
You're defending that?
That's offensive.
You're defending him with gun owners.
Fighting citizens, Nazis.
Doesn't matter why they include it. The question is, do we want it? Do we need it now? And is it relevant today?
Sir.
Freedom of religion doesn't matter.
While you're standing up, I am sat here and I'm here right now, and I would like to agree with the professor. Everyone standing in this room right now, especially the veterans in this room right now, know we are all Americans. The problem with this country right now is it's us. We need to stop this crap. Now, the thing I would like you to answer, sir, and I did go to war with this country.
Yeah.
Whether it was for everyone in here's ability to have oil and gas in their cars, or the banks, or whatever, I went to war for my country.
Thank you.
And I went to war for your ability to have the First Amendment to say what you stood up there and said today, write what you want to write in your newspaper, and have whatever opinion you want to have. You can practice whatever religious freedoms you want. I would like you to answer the question, since you just said that one of the rights that I went to war over to defend that is inalienable to every American citizen. If this discussion was going on about your First Amendment rights, would you still have the same opinion that we don't need that anymore either?
You hear my answer.
I did hear your answer. We all did. You said the Second Amendment no longer matters, and we might not need it right now.
That's not what I said.
Your question.
The reason for the Second Amendment at the time it was adopted, and I said it doesn't matter what their reasons are. What matters is whether or not it's relevant today, and that's the answer.
Matters is it was eternal truth. And eternal truth relevant in all time.
When they consider any part of the Constitution, any law, they're going to say, what does it mean today?
Let the man speak. The threat of tyranny today is no less than the turn of the century in the 1900s, or 1800, or 1700.
My name is Bill Stevens. I live in Newtown. My 5th grade daughter was in lockdown on December 14, 2012. Unfortunately, her classmate's little sister was murdered in Sandy Hook that day when lockdown and 911 weren't enough to protect her from an evil person. Not protect her from an assault rifle or some type of inanimate object, but from an evil person. Quite different from the elaborate security you all enjoy here at the Capitol. It was fun getting frisks on the way in. Section 15 reads very clearly, we all know what the Second Amendment says, but Section 15 in the state constitution says very clearly, every citizen has a right to bear arms in defense of himself and the state. There's no registration, there's no permitting, there's no background checks. It's quite clear. These rights are inalienable and endowed by our Creator, not you politicians, to all citizens regardless of gender, race, or creed. In order to limit the rights of individuals, there is something called due process, and legislation is not due process. You want to take my rights away? Let's go to court. My guns are not dangerous. They are at home, locked up, collecting dust and cat hair. But criminals and tyrants especially, beware. Lockdown is not an option at the Stevens residence, and 911 will be dialed after the security of my home has been established. Charlton Heston made the phrase, "from my cold dead hands" famous, and I will tell you here today, you will take my ability to protect my Victoria from my cold dead hands.
As I mentioned, I'm not really mad at the guy that did this. And I'm certainly not mad at the guns that did this. They didn't walk in there by themselves and pull their own triggers. The guy that did it was a lunatic. That's like being mad at a rabid dog. I'm mad at my legislators for legislating me out of the right to protect myself and my family. I would much rather be sitting in jail with a felony offense on my head and have my parents alive. As far as these so-called assault weapons, you say that they don't have any defense use. You tell that to the guy that I saw on a videotape of the LA riots, standing up on his rooftop, protecting his property and his life from an entire mob with one of these so-called assault weapons. Tell me that he didn't have a legitimate self-defense use. Just one final statement. I've been sitting here getting more and more fed up with all of this talk about these pieces of machinery having no legitimate sporting purpose, no legitimate hunting purpose. People, that is not the point of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not about duck hunting. And I know I'm not going to make very many friends saying this, but it's about our right, all of our rights, to be able to protect ourselves from all of you guys up there.
No, not at all. It is. Because I was in the Philippines, physically, the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and made himself a dictator, and the first thing that dictator did, he gave the people of the Philippines 2 weeks to turn in all their guns or it was the death penalty. Now, why would a dictator do that? Why would he make his #1 priority when he took over as dictator to disarm the public? The Second Amendment is there, and it was put in there not for hunting and fishing like they like to say, because back when they did it, if you didn't hunt or fish, you didn't eat. It was put in there so the citizens would have the ability, if their government became oppressive, they could defend themselves against oppressive government. And I think that overrules all the gun deaths, because let's remember something. A gun is simply a tool. I have a gun safe at home, and I've never come home and heard those guns going off on their own. People kill people. Police can't stop crimes. Police show up after they're over. Remember that. How many people here think I make crackpot points?
Yeah.
1. How many think I make sensible points? You're in a minority, my good friend. You're the minority.
Do you care about murders, or do you only care about murders with guns?
I care about all death.
I don't think you do.
Crime.
I think you care about guns. I think you're obsessed with guns.
No, I'm obsessed.
99.99% of the gun owners of America are wonderful people that you are hanging around with here today. Perfectly safe, perfectly harmless, wonderful, loving, giving, generous, caring people. Would you leave us the hell alone?
What is your response to what the president is trying to do? Which of his proposals do you agree with?
Well, I think I can frame it best by identifying the scammer-in-chief who claims that just to save one life would be worth this.
Isn't it worth it?
He had a chance to save 4 American lives in Benghazi, and he refused to do so. Now he's sending F-16s to Egypt. So how can you believe this guy? This guy is on record. This president of ours has been voted in by that clueless majority who is so out of touch, they still call magazine clips. They still call personal defense weapons assault weapons.
Mega banks that control the planet and brag that they've taken over, in Bloomberg, AP, Reuters, you name it, brag that they're going to get our guns as well. They've taken everybody's guns but the Swiss and the American people. And when they get our guns, they can have their world tyranny. While the government buys 1.6 billion bullets, armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, Predator drones, armed, now in U.S. skies, being used to arrest people in North Dakota. The Second Amendment isn't there for duck hunting. It's there to protect us from tyrannical government and street thugs. Take the women in India. Your piece earlier on CNN I was watching during Anderson Cooper's show didn't tell you that the women of India have signed giant petitions to get firearms because the police can't and won't protect them. The answer is, hey, wait a minute, I have FBI crime statistics that come out a year late, 2011. 20+% crime drop in the last 9 years. Real violent crime, because more guns means less crime. Britain took the guns 15, 16 years ago. Tripling of your overall violent crime. True, we have a higher gun violence level, but overall mugging, stabbings, deaths, those men raped that woman in India to death with an iron rod 4 feet long. You can't ban the iron rods. The guns, the iron rods, Pierce, didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand?
It is the concentration of power among the few, such as what we see in a dictatorship, that leads to corruption and exploitation of the people. When the government wants to force people to do what it wants, it uses guns. This force will only become more aggressive, more tyrannical, and more dangerous if the imbalance of power is swayed in the government's favor through disarmament of the citizens. The crux of the anti-gun movement, you see, is not to disarm the government. It is to selectively disarm private citizens only, therefore granting what is called a monopoly of violence to the government itself. This is openly revealed as the true purpose of gun restrictions and disarmament legislation, to monopolize the use of force into the hands of the government itself, to hold the people of the world in a perpetual state of surrender to those who control the governments. And when that happens, history has shown that a monopoly of force often ends in mass murder. In just the last century, armed governments possessing a monopoly on gun control have directly killed over 250 million people on our planet. R.J. Rummel at the University of Hawaii has extensively studied what's called democide, a term describing death by government.
To put democide into perspective, it would take 10 sports stadiums, jam-packed with 100,000 people apiece, to represent 1 million souls. China, from 1949 to 1987, the Communist Party killed 76+ million people, and they even admit it. They're proud of it. The USSR, from 1917 to 1987, killed over 61 million people. Combined Western colonialism killed over 50 million people. Germany, under Hitler, from 1933 to 1945, killed more than 20 million people total, including their own population. Japan, during its imperial orgy, from 1936 to 1945, killed 5+ million people. Before Mao even got into power, from 1923 to 1948, they killed right around 3.5 million. And good old Pol Pot in Cambodia, funded by the U.S. government and Zbigniew Brzezinski, from 1975 to 1979, killed around 30% of his population, 2 million. Turkey, during their genocide of the Armenians, 1.8 million. Vietnam, 1.67 million. Poland, 1.585 million. Pakistan, 1.5+ million. Yugoslavia under Tito, 1,072,000. And the mega murder just continues. North Korea, 1.663 million. Mexico, 1,417,000. Russia, before the communists even got in, killed over 1 million. And it just goes on and on and on. For a whopping conservative total of 262 million. Governments winning the war against humanity. And let me just be clear. That's governments killing unarmed civilians. That doesn't even count military casualties. If you add those in, it's well over 350 million. So democide, or death by government, is the #1 threat because it's already been carried out many, many times, and governments all over the world are engaging in mass murder right now, and our own government, under the National Defense Authorization Act, is openly stating that they will kill U.S. citizens, secretly arrest U.S. citizens, and have us disappear into secret prisons and black holes. So the gauntlet has been thrown down in front of us.
A topic of much debate here in the 21st century United States is the Second Amendment. Many people have questions about what it means, what the people who wrote it intended it to mean, and does it still apply today? Well, sit tight because over the next few minutes, I hope to answer any questions that you may have on the Second Amendment. Let's start with the actual words of the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The structure of that sentence is a little foreign to us here in the 21st century, as we no longer speak in such a manner. There's talk about a militia, the state, bears, and arms. Opponents of an individual's right to bear arms will automatically gravitate to the words well-regulated militia, and generally, without any context, order the words 18th century meaning. In order to understand the context, you have to transport yourself back to the minds of the framers in 1788, and you have to understand their language. You have to first understand that they had just fought a war with the tyrannical British government for independence, a war that was fought for 5 years, a war that was fought with firearms, and a war that was ignited when the British attempted to seize the colony's guns. With the war fresh in their minds, and America a loose conglomerate of individual states, the people of the continent realized the need to unite together to form a union. Unfortunately, a union could mean the very same tyranny all over again if power was placed in the hands of just a few. So the framers explicitly set forth to pen the founding documents in a manner as to limit the power of the government and give it to the people. So I ask this question: who is regulating the militia? Why would the framers call for the regulation of a militia by the government if their express intent was to give the power to the people? The answer is quite simply, they didn't. You see, the phrase well-regulated doesn't refer to the definition to control or supervise by means of rules and regulations. It was a common phrase in the late 18th century whose meaning was closer to operating properly or functioning. A clock that kept good time in the era was said to be well-regulated. So the Second Amendment called for a functioning militia, and the next thing that's uttered out of the mouths of opponents is only the militia can have firearms. That was the intent. So if the militia are the only people to have firearms, who are the militia? George Mason, the father of the Bill of Rights, said it most succinctly when arguing for the ratification of the Constitution in Virginia in 1788. He said, "I ask, sir, what is the militia? It is the whole people, except for a few public officials. The whole people, everybody, you, me, your neighbors, everybody." You can even further understand the meaning of the word militia by looking at the wording of the Second Amendment as it worked its way through Congress. The version that was sent from the House to the Senate on August 24th, 1788 reads, "A well-regulated militia, being composed of the body of the people, being the best security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." They understood the right of the people to keep and bear arms as inalienable, or a right a person has simply by existing. This wasn't even a matter of question. One thing the framers understood was that future corrupt politicians would twist and misconstrue words to fit their political agendas. Furthermore, they even feared penning the right would give future generations the opportunity to bastardize the words they wrote. So after much debate, and to the best ability of the framers with the language of the time, the final version emerged from the House on September 21st, 1789. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So a functioning militia consisting of all the people is necessary to the security of a free state. What is that state? Was it Virginia, Massachusetts, the entire Union? Just like the phrase well-regulated, free state can be construed to mean a number of things. But again, what did the founders intend? Simply put, free state was used in 18th century political discourse to mean free country. The phrase was not used to refer to any particular government entity. It referred to the free people themselves. In modern terms, the first statement in the Second Amendment, if written in today's language, might read, "A well-functioning militia composed of every person is necessary to a free country." The part that comes next cannot be misconstrued, even today. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There are two distinct statements. Well-armed people are necessary to the security of a free country. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And from the ratification of the U.S. Constitution to round about the 1934 National Firearms Act, the phrase shall not be infringed was respected and understood. While the founders may not have fathomed the types of weapons that exist today, did they limit themselves in fighting the British with muskets? No. They not only used muskets, but 24-pound cannons, 12-pound cannons, 8-inch howitzers, 5.5-inch howitzers, and the list goes on. In other words, they fought the British like for like. Since we know that the founders feared the newly formed government eventually might become tyrannical, if you look logically at the situation and ask yourself honestly, you know the answer as to the types of weapons that should be available to the public. I again point to shall not be infringed. Much the same as you would never argue the First Amendment doesn't extend to a computer because computers didn't exist in the 18th century, the intent of the Second Amendment is the same. Also, the last time I checked, politicians are still humans. For all the folks out there that say the Second Amendment is outdated, I assume that men are no longer corruptible. I assume that over the past century, the hundreds of millions of people who have died because they were unarmed didn't die by the hands of corrupt men. I assume as the tentacles of government reach into every moment of your lives, things will never go wrong. If you try to make that argument, I'll first call you a fool, and then I'll point you to these words. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And lastly, for the detractors, check out the links below for the sources and further information. For the rest of us, make sure everyone knows what I just said, and please share this video. If you found this information insightful, drop us a comment, hit the like button below, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the Tin Hat Ranch channel. Thanks for watching.
If you're like the majority of Americans, you're actually a low-mileage driver. Short trips around town, road trips out of town.
So, over the last several days, Mr. Speaker, there's been a lot of discussion about an open and honest debate with respect to school shootings, gun violence, gun control, etc. And an open and honest debate, as I understand it, is one that would rely on data, facts, evidence, analysis, reason, logic, etc., etc. And I'm certainly willing to have that debate. I think if we were going to look seriously at school shootings and gun control, we would analyze things like, why do all mass shootings seem to take place in gun-free zones? Wouldn't it be reasonable to test whether or not the efficacy of gun-free zones have actually achieved what their intended intent is? We'd start to look at most of these shooters come from broken homes. What sort of government policies have actually encouraged broken homes? You can look at left-leaning think tanks like the Brookings Institute that will actually say that some of it can be attributed to various cultural changes that happened in the 60s, to include the abortion industry. You can look at more conservative-leaning organizations that will say that the welfare state contributed significantly to dismantling the family as families became more and more dependent upon the government than they were mothers and fathers in the home raising children. We could look at various status with those areas within the United States and around the world that have strict gun control measures and what their crime rates look like, whether it's Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C., and others that have incredibly strict gun laws, and yet for some reason it hasn't seemed to stop the gun violence in those particular areas. We can look at the analysis out of 538, which is considered more of a left-of-center data analysis think tank, where you had several analysts now confirm through the data that they were looking at, not just in the United States, but in Canada, Great Britain, and Australia, that they were shocked that the data did not support what they thought gun control measures would actually achieve. We can look at the number of cases within the United States where a gun has been used for self-defense. Estimates range everywhere from 100,000 uses to close to 1 million uses within the United States. Now, some organizations and some reporters only want to report on the ones where a gun was used and it actually resulted in the death or maiming of the perpetrator. But if you look at the ones where the gun was used and the mere presence of the firearm actually dissuaded a criminal from committing an act of violence, an act of rape, an act of murder, the number shoots up, it skyrockets. So when people on this side talk about the importance of the Second Amendment, please understand it's not just some base philosophical conviction that we all have. It is rooted in the idea that while we may be a post-Enlightenment society, the vast majority of horrible atrocities that we've seen have happened in those post-Enlightenment societies. Has happened as a result of government systematically disarming citizens and claiming themselves to be the sole responsible party for their security, and then turning on those same citizens and punishing them. That's the most egregious cases. But in the individual cases of self-defense, that's why the people on this side of the aisle hold the Second Amendment in such high esteem, because we honestly believe that you have an inherent right to defend yourself. And your ability to defend yourself should not be excluded to your size. Firearms provide someone that is weaker and not as fast the ability to actually defend themselves from a stronger attacker. Some of the other things that we would look at, and some of the things I would hope we would have bipartisan support for, all of us agree that we need to make sure that our students are better protected when they go to schools. One of the things that we would look at is arming certain teachers. Not every teacher, but a teacher that is comfortable with it, is former law enforcement, is former military, that is now in the classroom. Delegate Plum said yesterday that that was ridiculous to consider. Why? Is it because the other side of this debate will only accept one quote-unquote solution to this problem, and that is tearing apart or gutting the Second Amendment? And I understand, we're going to mention just a couple of the bills that were done this year, right? Background checks, getting rid of bump stocks. If you're wondering the other reason why we can't have an honest debate over this one is because, quite frankly, I don't think any of us on this side of the aisle believe you when you say that's all you want to do. It'll be bump stocks, it'll be background checks, then it'll be different kind of background checks that register the guns. Then after that, it'll be we need to ban assault weapons. What's an assault weapon? Something that looks scary. Then after that, it'll be semi-automatic rifles. After that, it'll be semi-automatic handguns. Then it'll be revolvers, shotguns. Because when the policies fail to produce the results you are promising to your constituents, you'll be back with more reasons on why we've got to infringe on Second Amendment rights. The other reason why it's really difficult to have an honest and open debate about this is because of this, members of this body comparing members on this side of the aisle to Nazis. Members on the other side of the aisle saying that when a 24-year-old teacher gets up and says that the whole debate is between the Second Amendment or her life, that's a false dilemma. And quite frankly, one of the ones that I found the most offensive, along with being compared to Nazis, was being compared to segregationists. I just want to remind everyone someone very quickly. It was not our party that supported slavery, that fought women's suffrage, that rounded up tens of thousands of Asian Americans and put them in concentration camps, that supported Jim Crow, that supported segregation, or supported mass resistance. That wasn't our party. That was the Democrat Party. Now, I'm thrilled that Democrats no longer believe that, and I don't believe that a single current member of this body who is a Democrat ever believe those things, but I would really appreciate it if every time you want to make a powerful point, you don't project the sins, the atrocities, and the injustices that the Democratic Party perpetrated on others onto us. So if we want to have an open and honest debate, I am all for that. Let's do that. But it does start with a certain degree of mutual respect. It starts with a certain degree of not assuming that the only reason why we believe in the Second Amendment is because the NRA paid us off. Well, if that's the sort of logic you want to use, why don't you go take a look at how much money the NRA spends and how much money Planned Parenthood spends? Because when I get up here and I talk about abortion, I don't assume that you're all bought and paid for by Planned Parenthood. I don't assume you're horrible people because I disagree with you on a policy position. I assume you have deep convictions and that we can have an argument and a debate about it. But if you're not willing to reciprocate that level of respect, well, don't be surprised when it becomes more difficult to talk about these things. Because there is a lot that we can do, and there is a lot that we need to do to ensure the security of our children and our citizens. But yes, we are going to have a problem with so-called solutions which infringe on people's liberty under the promise the government will provide for their security. Because ultimately in this last school shooting, we had a perfect example of government being engaged over 30 times and still failing to provide security for those students. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Self-defense with a firearm is about a lot more than just shooting straight at the range. Click this video now to download the USCCA's new guide, 101 Handgun Accuracy Secrets. This guide will teach you how to be proficient with your gun, even under stress. It'll teach you to get rounds on target when your adrenaline starts pumping and your hands start to shake. Inside this guide, you'll learn how to master sight alignment, trigger control, shooting under pressure, accurate shooting on the move, and so much more. Discover how a single penny can save you thousands in ammunition costs and how a roll of dimes can pay for your next firearms training class. Learn how to introduce anxiety and stress into your range training so that you'll be ready for a deadly encounter. Click this video now to uncover secret shortcuts that will give you a smooth trigger pull. This guide will give you force-on-force training scenarios that are both realistic and cost-effective. Learn from the nation's leading authorities on concealed carry and firearms education. This guide contains expert training from Mossad Ayub, Jack Rumbaugh, Kevin Michalowski, and more. Click this video right now and you'll get the 101 Handgun Accuracy Secrets completely free. This guide will
I have to make him a hand teleporter. What happened to my hand teleporter?
Don't have one?
No,
Oh,
I do not have one.
I think I stole it.
It's all good, but somebody just said hi, so hold on. Oh, it's lucid. Yay. Okay, no problem. It's not a problem. It's just, yeah. What team speak are we in? Which room? Anza or Lost Realm?
Lost Realm.
Okay, thanks. It's all good. We'll be able to make some more. Majors is not in here anymore. Okay, this is going to be hard.
What is?
Oh, I was just telling him it's cool. Nice to see Lucid again. He's pretty cool. Okay, I get to figure out where this place is by flying because
You can have your map open while you fly.
Yeah, I see Coops. Oh, I forgot Coop. Oh, Coop is in here. Be darned. Safe in the building, so stay put. Unless something comes in and gets you.
I think if there's something smart enough to walk up the ramp, it's going to be too big to get me.
Oh no, the cats will walk up the ramp. The Pegos will walk up the ramp. The what else? The Ravengers will walk up the ramp if they're still in here. You said 60, 70, 20, 30? Okay, I'm coming.
Yes, that's correct. Pretty much dead center right there in that grid.
Once I get there...
The roof is completely open, so you should be able to land
once
in.
I get there, Bill, I guess I will put him in the tribe, and then if there's a teleporter over there, I guess he can use the teleporter because I didn't bring one.
Not that I saw.
I'm glad you said that.
If it's one of those flat portion teleporters.
Yes, it's a flat teleporter.
Yeah, I don't see anything like that over here.
Okay, let me go back to the house then real quick, and
I do see a lot of place where I can get some rock though.
I think he'll have a cave for you, and I think he's got a pretty good idea what the caves look like over there. He's a real cave dweller, and he likes caves, so he'll find you an excellent one.
As long as the scorpions will leave me alone.
Once they get you a fly or whatever animal you want, you can wipe them scorpions out. If not, we'll wipe them out with our animals.
Yeah, for whatever reason, in this game, scorpions love caves.
So they do. At any game I go into, compies find me. So, yeah. Ooh, that's a big, excuse me.
User disconnected from your channel.
Oh, and there goes Bill.
That happens. He has those things sometimes happen.
It says he disconnected, not dropped. So if he disconnected, it means he left on purpose.
No. He has issues with his net. It will disconnect him in a second. It does that with me too. Because he took my hand teleporter, I got to go back and try to find my house. But I know where I went, so I know where I'm at. He's our builder extraordinaire. He can build pretty much anything. The guys can too. As soon as I get to a teleporter, I'll get back to my house, and then I will get another teleporter if I have one. If not, I will go find one, and when I bring it to you, then we'll pop you open. We'll give it to you so you can use it to get over to my place, and then from there, Bill will be able to help you with the other stuff. I am really spoiled now because that hand teleporter is great. You can do it on the fly. You can do it on the run. Yeah, the name of my place is Callie's Farmyard. It was Callie's Spot. But because Bill decided to come in here and do whatever, he had a great time building, he renamed it, so I left it because it's really cool.
Okay, whatever works.
Okay, I'm going to go get you I'm going to go find a teleporter or make a teleporter. I'm just not sure which. I'll probably make a hand teleporter so I can just bring you to my place. have to make some polymer and electronics, and I will be headed your way with one.
Okay.
You're pretty safe where you are. The name of our tribe is called Bourbon Street. It's a reference to Louisiana.
Yeah, okay.
While you're sitting there, you might, well, you can't. If you go outside and you can gather some stuff and it's safe for you, great. You'll be able to, get
No,
some Ingrams.
doors are locked up. And I
Oh,
can't
I'm
unlock
sorry.
them. So I'm like literally stuck inside this half-finished building. So
I will be over there as soon as possible. I'll bring you some food too, so let me make sure I have food with me. Okay, I'm bringing you a hand teleporter, so as soon as I put you in tribe, you can teleport over to my place, or you can follow me. Don't matter.
okay.
I'm going your direction now. Hopefully we'll see this building he's talking about. It can't be missed, I don't think. Are you in the desert?
No, I got trees and whatnot around me.
Okay, good. Is there snow?
Cool.
No? Okay, good.
No snow, but I'm down by the shore line. I can see it if I jump. So, yeah, right there by the shoreline.
I'm going straight that direction. I am literally going down my map, and I will be there pretty shortly. I am on RG, so yeah, I'm going straight down, literally from where I live, straight down to where you are. Hopefully, I will hit you because I'm going between the areas that you said. You said 2030, right? At the longitude, right?
Yeah, 2030, 60, 70 latitude.
60, 70 longitude. Okay, got it. You are on the beach, right?
Yeah.
I'm on a black and white RG with red tips, so hopefully it won't be too bad. I'm bringing you a hand teleporter, which will get you anywhere in our tribe. And if they're open, you can go to the other teleporters. Those are the other people's places. You can go to Callie's farmland or to Atlantis. That's Bill's. And then we can go from there. You'll like Atlantis. It is gorgeous. When they wiped the server, we were all given a chance to have our own places back. And he got that one, and he likes it that well. So I was going to have a cave that I had. It was a big cave, but I decided I didn't want it. I found a better place. And then Bill came over and decided to make it look great. And then he realized that I was in a dangerous spot because I had embers coming over, which are the big giant dragons or wyverns. And so he went underground and started moving all my animals. I was like, thank you. And he's made big walls and spikes and everything for me.
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
You have two, and then you can build your own. And he's also found a cave for you if you like caves. And hopefully he'll get back in. And it could be his internet.
Oh, either way.
He'll be able to get anything out of the boxes. And we have these kind of cool little birds you'll be able to see. They're gold. And if you eat their eggs, they're supposed to give you a little bit of energy and stuff like that. But they're friendly birds. They look like terror birds, but they're all gold. So it kind of freaks you out. They're sweet. You have to run around behind them and feed them. I am at, what is that, 60, what is it, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm at 50. I will be at 60 latitude in a moment. And so I'll be right there.
Okay.
And I will show you the big,
I think I see a building on top of a mountain.
I hope not, because that could be somebody's house, so we'll see.
Well, I'm pretty far away from it, but I could see a mountain by me with a buttload of snow on it.
You see an obelisk that's green?
I see an obelisk. I can't tell if it's green or not.
Oh, there's my Bronto that I need to kill. But I'm not going to kill him yet. He's in the water, and I'm on a bird that can't go in the water.
There's like a green bird that's like swimming around in a circle.
Up in the sky?
No, down in the water.
Down in the water, that's probably a Pelagornis.
Yeah.
On the coast, I am looking and I'm almost to the 70, so I should be pretty close to where you are. If I'd known you were near the Green Obelisk, I would have just gone to the Green Obelisk, flown out to the coast and gone up, but I didn't. 'Cause my map never comes in, my numbers never come in on any server I've ever played. This is the first time they've ever come in.
Ah. Yeah, right on 60, 70, 10, 20, there's an island. And I'm just one grid over in 2030. Wait. Okay, no. Well, wait. I think I see you.
Okay,
Turn
I'm
around.
looking down.
Turn
Okay.
around. Now go straight. You should see a building right dead ahead of you. Well, now it's off to your left. Yeah, now it should be to your right. You should see the building right now. It's right off to your right. You're right above me.
You didn't tell me to
User
bring
joined
any
your
clothes,
channel.
but that's okay.
I figure I'll get somebody
Hello.
where I
Hello, it's
going.
me again.
Yes, we heard you.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
You can be glad that I did this. It taught me a lesson on how to fly without a teleporter. Give me a second. Come over here so I can recruit you.
Good idea. Telling me what your bird looks like. Or else you probably never have found me. Oh, where do I go?
Just hit the E. And you're recruited, and then I'm going to drop you something. I'm over here at Major's old Taman base. As soon as I give him the hand teleporter, since I made two, he'll go back to, where do you want him to go? Do you want him to go to Atlantis?
Okay.
Yeah, let me just get. Oh.
Only one.
Oh, my pretty little bird. I'd have to beat you. That is a teleporter. It will take you to Callie's. It will take you to Atlantis. And we will get you stuff from there. But I don't know how to carry you on my bird.
You can't.
I guess you can stand next to my bird. Oh, no, I can carry you. We can stand next to your bird, and we're going to go to Atlantis.
Okay, I don't think it'll work, but I guess we can try.
Yes, it will. That's why these teleporters are so nice. I can take you straight to Atlantis if you stand next to my bird.
Oh. Okay.
We're going to Atlantis, the land down under.
What are you taking over there?
I'm taking him, me and the bird.
You might have to get the hell out of there quickly because I got one of those metal beasts. That room I had to do some Hold on, hold on.
Are you kidding? I just. Oh my God! He's getting killed. Because I can't get him out of there safe. Hold on. As soon as we land.
He's dead.
Oh, why did you kill the metal beast?
Did he kill the metal beast?
Oh shit! No, Reaper was killed by the attack. Oh shit! Oh crap! Sorry about that, Reaper.
Wait, now you got someone killed?
Yes, I did. Honestly, I got somebody killed. I'm so bad. That was terrible. Because there's a metal beast in here, and I'd already hit the button, so there was no way he was going to get out of it. Oh, no. So, he's going to be able to pop back into any of our beds because he's in our tribe, thank God.
Oh, yeah, he needs to do it in a... Gotta put a new one down. It says Atlantis City Roof.
You did not tell me the Stego was still alive.
Why would I have a Stego in there that was dead?
I didn't know I was coming into the taming pen.
Well, that's why I got to change it. I had I was limited on my stuff.
Okay, no problem. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that, Reaper.
Nah, not a problem. It's a game. I don't care. It's a game.
Got some ugly broad in here.
Hey, don't be missing. That's Reaper. I've heard the story. Guys like to take little tunes because they don't like looking at our guys' asses.
Exactly. Okay. Now.
Don't run into there because if you do, he will. The Stego will kill you.
Yeah, I'm staying on top of the building.
This place is gorgeous. Oh my God.
Wow, there's a dragon down there. Jizz.
That's his babies. He got them dragons. He must. But since I'm coming in.
And there's a big ass frog here.
That's my pink frog, isn't he cute? I like the pink frog.
This must be the cloning thing.
You can only do animals 1 through 120.
So far as we know.
Yes. Oh my God, he is gorgeous. Oh, I can't wait. The Beast of Gavada. Oh my God, he's gorgeous.
Oh, there's the dragon that killed me all the way over there. Okay.
Oh my God, he is
I wanted to walk around and look around before so I can locate him and figure out where he's at, so I don't have to worry about getting myself killed again.
None of these animals will kill you. They're all his with the exception of the Stego that's inside that pen.
Yep.
Anything with a green will not kill you. Anything with a blue will not kill you. Anything with a red is somebody else's. Anything with a yellow can kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, all you have to do is go over there and shove horizontal metal cables up its ass.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I want to spend days trying to stick horizontal metal cables up something's ass. No. Because it will be nice. I've got a ghillie suit on. I could do it. I have a ghillie suit on. Yeah. See the Beast of Guadavan, the giant wolf.
I think my game just locked up. My game
Gorgeous.
locked up.
He's cool. Oh no.
Tell me about it. That's why I had to get off earlier, because when I came in, I embedded myself on the floor.
Oh, nope, it didn't lock up.
Yes.
Just
They
Origin
did
took
lock up.
priority. My game's okay.
Okay,
Origin
well,
just
you're
took
standing
priority. So gotta close out Origin and then get back into my game.
Oh, Peaches is purty.
Yeah, I needed some more dragon scales to make a saddle. Nobody seems to have them.
Okay. That means we have to kill some elites to get them.
Okay, well, my game might as well have just crashed. I can get
Well,
it back
if
open
it
again.
crashes, then you
Yep, there it
take
goes.
your
Now
time
it
getting
officially
in.
crashed.
Oh, well, I understand that. It happens quite often to all of us. You're safe. You're standing next to the jumbo pink frog. Nothing can eat you. So all you'll do is pass out.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to eat you or lick you. Which I'll laugh my head off if he does.